So here's what you have to do to be credible, to be able to establish a business credit profile on a sound foundation. This is the bedrock of your business. Okay, so make sure you do this, especially when you just get started. If you just form your company, it's the best time to do it, because then you don't have to worry about changing it later. If you've been established as an existing business for any length of time, a year, 10 years, 20 years, and you haven't done these things, well, guess what? If you want to build business credit, you're going to have to go back and do these things. You're going to have to make some changes to your infrastructure and your administrative setup. So, number one, of course, your business name. Number two, forming the business with Secretary of State. Number three, IRS, getting your tax ID number. Number four, you need to establish a business address. Okay? Now, you can use your home address to do business, and you can use your home address to build business credit. That's fine. However, keep in mind, when you use your business address, it's going to be on public records, which means it's going to show up on the internet in Google Maps and other maps and address locations. So any of your clients, anyone looking at your business from the outside, can easily click a button and zoom right into your home address and see your street with Google Maps. I mean, it's the technology in the world that we live in. So if you don't want that, if you kind of want to create a buffer and have some privacy, then you don't want to use your home address. But otherwise, you can use your home address. What you definitely don't want to do is you do not want to use a P.O. box number or a UPS box number as your business address. Okay, now once you have a business address, if you want to use a P.O. box or UPS for mailing, that's fine, that's separate. But for your official business address, you can use your home address, or an alternative would be to set up a business virtual address with a company like Regis, which is the only one I can speak for that I trust. I use them, and basically they have real physical offices, and they also offer a virtual office, which means you'll have a box for your mail in their facility, but when you look them up on a map, it's a real physical location. Okay, it's not just a virtual address in space. It's a real physical office. Regis is pretty awesome, because with Regis you have the ability to have access to all of their locations, and they have pretty much offices all around the United States. They have different levels of Regis. There's Spaces, which is their more sophisticated brand. It's a more of a upscale office center, but ultimately, as a Regis member, you have access to all of their facilities throughout the country. You're going to have your home base, and even though you don't have a physical office with a key and a desk, you have access to their facilities. So instead of doing meetings in Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, you can avoid the calories and have meetings in your Regis office locations. But the best thing is, the good news, or the point of this, is that you establish a business address. And once you have that business address, now you are able to use that address with your bank, with the Secretary of State, with IRS, with the business credit bureaus, and any accounts that you establish. And of course, when someone looks you up, they won't find your home address. So that's your solution. So moving on, once you have your address, then you need to get your phone number. A business phone number, not a personal cell phone or mobile phone. And even a business mobile phone is not ideal, but you want to have a dedicated business phone number. The one company I know you can trust and I recommend would be Ring Central. And by the way, guys, all of this information will be in the description of this video. So you can have the links to Regis, to Ring Central, to Business Credit 101, Startup Credit will be in the description. Everything will be down at the bottom. And if you're looking down there now, do me a favor. If you're liking the content, please go ahead and like. Please share. Please subscribe if you haven't, and definitely ring that bell for notifications. I really appreciate your support, guys. If this video is adding value, please support me in getting it out to others. Okay, so Ring Central is going to give you that phone number. I recommend an 800 number. It's the same price. It's going to be anywhere between $15 to $35 a month minimum. It's a really, really affordable service. And basically, they're going to give you a full-scale business phone system, for that amount. Instead of $100 or $150 a month with the phone company, you're going to have a phone system, and you can forward that number to your cell phone, so you don't skip a beat. It goes right to your cell phone. If you don't answer the call, then your phone system with Ring Central is literally going to give you a full-blown voicemail system with extensions where you can literally set it up to say, thank you for calling so and so for this, dial 1, for that, dial 2. And you'll have the voicemail. You'll also have an e-fax that goes to your mail, your inbox on your email. So, I mean, with this service, you can literally set yourself up to look like a really big business with a sophisticated voicemail and administrative system. And it's just you, a one-man operation, and your phone call gets forwarded to your cell phone. But guess what? Having that business phone number is crucial in being a legitimate, credible business. Now, RingCentral will submit that phone number and your business information to 411 directory listings, and they do it for free. This is one of the reasons I like RingCentral. That's very important. That's another step in credibility, because what that does is it establishes your business in public records. Okay, so now your business is showing up in public records, and all roads lead back to your business. The business phone number, the business address, right? All of that goes back. And of course, the next thing is going to be your business email, right? Your email is so important. It's okay to use Yahoo and Gmail and AOL and all of the free mail service providers. That's perfectly fine. You can do business like that. But you want to have at least one email account that's designated to your business, okay? That email account should be at your domain name. So this is very easy to do. You buy a domain name for a year for like $12 max. You could get an email attached to that for another maybe $100 for the year. And you could pay that monthly. So you're talking about like $25 to $30. And you can set up a basic, very simple website, 1 or 2 pages with a landing page and a contact page. And that contact page is going to have your name, your address, business name, business address, business email, business phone number, so that all that information is exactly what's showing up on Secretary of State, on IRS, and on any applications that you submit for your business, including when you register and set up with Dun & Bradstreet. So again, all roads lead back to your business. This is putting on the tuxedo or the uniform for your business. So at least on the the surface from the outside, when someone is looking at your business, they see a legitimate, credible business. They don't see someone or a business that has a personal cell and a Yahoo Gmail account. No legitimate real business, if you look up any real big businesses, use those accounts for their emails and for their brand and their identity. So this is branding 101. Business credit 101 is establishing the right credentials and profile for your business. Okay, so set up that domain name, set up that email account, set up that basic website with a contact page. And it's very important that you also keep in mind and remember the way you spell your business name, punctuation and abbreviation and capitalization is very important and must be identical, as well as your address. So your business name and your address, the way you write it, with Secretary of State, with IRS, with all the business credit bureaus, with your bank account, and anywhere you post your business information should always be exactly the same. Punctuation, capitalization, and abbreviation. Okay? So the best thing to do is keep it short, abbreviate where you can abbreviate, make note of your capitalization and punctuation, and always do it identical. Make it exactly the same. This can cause you to get declined on certain applications when information is off by 1 digit in a character or spelling or punctuation or capitalization. Believe me, I think it's ridiculous, but this is what lenders can do to verify the legitimacy of your business. Okay, they'll check and see, do you have a real email? Do you have a real business phone number? What do you're applying for a business loan, you're asking it to be put on your business credit, but you're not business credible. So this is how you become business credible. Take it from me. I've been there and I've failed, and I've corrected that through these steps. And you can verify this. Just do the research if you want. If you don't trust me, look at Dun & Bradstreet. You'll find the truth. So anyways, business credibility. These are the steps. Establish the entity, your articles with the state, your EIN with the IRS. Of course, your first thing is your business name, your business phone number, your business address, your business email, website. These are the basics. Get set up with 411 directory listings, and you are now credible. Now at that point, you're ready to go ahead and create a free DUNS account with Dun & Bradstreet. You set up the DUNS number, and you can do that for free. Now when you do that, keep in mind Dun & Bradstreet's going to try to sell you on a yearly or monthly membership, and it can be around $150 a month. You don't need that, at least for now, to get started. You might need a little bit later if you need to do some manual reporting of vendor accounts for a couple months here or there, but you don't need that right now. Just set up the DUNS number, okay? Experian and Equifax, you don't really need to do anything there. The accounts that report to Experian and Equifax will report automatically if you get the right accounts to report. So at this point, you have your profile, you're credible, you have a DUNS number. Oh, I completely forgot. One of the most important things you must do is once you have the correct phone number, email, address, and you're credible in that regard, is you need to set up your business checking account, guys. So your business checking account is the final piece of the puzzle, but you need to set it up with all that credible information, okay? So many different banks you can look at. If you're in a region where you have access to a PNC bank, that's a great bank. They have a lot of products that you can benefit from later on in terms of loans and lines of credit, but so many other banks out there that are really good. One of the banks I like and I use is called Novo Bank. This is a web-based fintech bank. It'll be in the detailed in the description below. Also, you might want to take a look at Axios Bank. You know, the wave of the future, which is now, is fintech, which is web-based banks that offer technology and ease of use that integrate with other software and technology on web platforms. So check out Novo, check out Axios. Again, if you have access to PNC, that's a great bank. BB&T is another good bank. SunTrust. I mean, so many good banks that you can access. Chase. You know, all these banks are good banks. But at the end of the day, you know, want to look at the ease of use, access, fees. If you can gain interest, even if it's just 1% on a checking account, amazing. Some of the fintechs offer that, where some of the more traditional brick and mortar banks don't offer that. And of course, some of the fintechs offer fees to be waived. So set up that business checking account, and now you're ready to start building your business credit. So now you're in a position that you can basically go ahead and get set up with at least 3 to 5 accounts. So once you have a DUNS number, now you have a profile, but there's no business credit on that DUNS number. So what do you have to do? So the next step is you need to create an account. You need to establish a profile with between 3 to 5 vendors or creditors that will report to Dun & Bradstreet. Okay, so who reports to Dun & Bradstreet? Well, not everyone. You know, there's a lot of different business credit cards that you can apply to. These business credit cards are personally guaranteed. They don't require business credit. And this is a program that you can actually leverage to get access to anywhere from $20,000 to $150,000 of funding at 0% interest for 12 months. This is one of the programs that we provide through OrangeFi. Now, if you're looking for just one card, then you don't need that program. But if you're looking to really gain access to capital, leveraging your personal credit, this program can get you there. However, the personal inquiry that is required for these business credit cards, that's where the buck stops as far as the credit showing up on your personal credit, because there's only 1 or 2 that will show up on personal credit. The rest of them will not. So that means it'll take a personal guarantee to get the business cards, but they won't show up on your personal credit. Now, the majority of the business cards are going to report to Experian, and a few of them report to Equifax, okay? But they're not going to report to Dun & Bradstreet. Now, there are a few, 1 or 2 here, but these are not brands and cards that you're going to be familiar with. So you have to know which ones to get to report to Dun & Bradstreet. So it's very important. This is what I recommend. It's very simple. You set up an account with a site called Nav. There's a link in the description for Nav. They have an account called Boost. Nav is a business credit reporting website. So instead of $150 a month with Dun & Bradstreet, another $180 with Experian, and another $100 with Equifax, $40 a month, you have access to all 3 business credit bureaus to monitor your business credit. And for Nav's $40 a month Boost account, they're going to report that monthly payment to Dun & Bradstreet. So there's your solution. It reports to Dun & Bradstreet. Nav is one. Okay. The next one I recommend is the CEO Creative. The CEO Creative is going to give you a net 30 account. It's a $69 application fee, and the CEO Creative is going to basically set you up with a net 30 account, which reports to Dun and Bradstreet. So you get that account set up, you make a purchase. They provide branding materials like business cards, flyers, shirts, different branding. There's lots of products on their site. There's another site you can also look at called Shirtsy, which does the same thing. It's a net 30 account. You'll see the link in the description below. Again, Shirtsy will give you a net 30 account, and you'll be able to report that to Dun and Bradstreet. And then the last one, as far as the first round of just getting right to it as quickly as possible, is I'm going to recommend the 5-star credit card. I already did another video about 5-star processing business credit card. This is an amazing account. It's a MasterCard that reports to Dun and Bradstreet. With this card, what's awesome is that yes, it's a MasterCard, so you're building a rapport and a relationship with MasterCard, but you're also reporting that data to Dun and Bradstreet. It's a $99 application fee, which will be refunded if you don't get approved. If you do get approved, it's non-refundable, but then you have to pay another $100. It's not a pay, but it's a transfer of $100 to activate the card. Now that $100 becomes a credit. Okay, so you can get approved for up to $10,000. Some of my clients have gotten smaller approvals in the range of $400 or $500 just to kind of get the ball rolling. But hey, now you have a business credit card with a $400 or $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 limit on it with a MasterCard logo, and that's a credit limit that you can use. Okay, but you have to transfer $200 a month to the card, which gets credited to the card. And so basically what happens is by doing that, it reports that to Dun & Bradstreet every month, okay, that $200 transfer. So what you want to do is what I do. I basically pay for one of my bills with the card, the $200 bill, and then I transfer $200 from my business checking to that card. So by doing that, the card is reporting to Dun & Bradstreet. I've built up the credit report and profile and relationship with MasterCard. And I'm just basically taking care of a bill. But I also have a credit limit available, so if I do want to spend some extra credit, I can also do that on that card. But that's the minimum way of managing and using that card. And again, all of these accounts are going to report to Dun & Bradstreet. So right there, that's 4 accounts. You could also check out Uline and Quill and Granger. These are the more popular business credit building sites. And again, I'll put those links down in the description below. And ultimately, these are going to be the first round accounts that you want to set up to establish a Paydex score, okay? Because having that DUNS number is good, it's nice, it's pretty, but it doesn't do anything for you. The Paydex score is what Dun & Bradstreet calls its business scoring model. It's from 0 to 100. Anything above 80 is good, 90 or above is excellent, and that's where you want to be, okay? So how do you get there? Well, you have to get these accounts, you have to use them, you have to pay them, and then that's going to report to build the score. But how you build that score is a little bit different than personal credit. With personal credit, as long as you pay before the due date, or even on the due date, or even after the due date, you won't get a late fee. I'm sorry, you might get a late fee if you pay after the due date, but you're not going to get a late payment on your credit report. So your credit will grow, and as long as you're making payments on time, and even if it's past the due date, you might have that fee, but it's not going to hurt your personal credit unless you go 30 days beyond the late payment. Then of course that hits your credit. With business credit, it's different. To build that score, you get rewarded the faster and earlier you pay the invoice. So when you make a purchase with one of these vendors, you don't want to wait. You want to immediately pay that vendor. You want to pay that invoice, I'd say within 2 to 3 days maximum. And that's how you're going to get that 90 Paydex score. Every day that you delay payment, you're not late, you're not going to get a late fee, but it reduces your score. Okay, so there's a matrix to that. And I'll do another video that talks about just the Paydex score and the levels of different scoring ranges, and when you pay late, how that all works. But keep it simple. Within 2 to 3 days, pay the invoice, don't delay, build that business credit score. That's the key. Okay, so if you do that, your score is going to be at least 80, if not 90 or higher. You have a profile. You have the minimum requirements of a business credit profile with a Paydex score. That is just the beginning. Okay, now once you establish that Paydex score, that's round 1 or tier 1 of building your business credit. There are 4 tiers, right, or 4 rounds. And the reason it's like that is because these are basically accounts that you can have access to. And each level of these accounts have different, not just options of different types of cards, memberships, vendor accounts, retail accounts, fleet accounts, but they will get bigger and bigger in approval amounts and more powerful spending for you that you have access to under your business name. But if you try to apply for the accounts in round 2 or round 3, and you haven't established a basic profile with the accounts in round 1, basically the accounts in round 1 are friendly. They're going to be friendly to someone who has no business credit. They'll give you an approval and let you establish a profile. But if you didn't know that and you jumped to the account in round 2 thinking, well, let me just go ahead and apply for this Amazon card or this whatever, and that's probably around 3 or 4, is you're going to get declined because you don't have a basic profile. So that's why you have to do it in tiers. And so round 1 is I've already established for you. Round 2 is a whole nother set of accounts in a specific order. Same thing with round 3 and round 4. At the end of that process, it should take you about 6 to 8 months. You should have around 10 to 14 vendor accounts reporting on your business credit profile. And now not only do you have a strong, credible profile with a Paydex score, with hopefully a good Paydex score, 80, 90 or better, but you have multiple accounts with multiple transaction records. Hopefully some of them will be sizable. And ultimately what that does is it adds real depth to your profile. So now within the next year to 2 years, when you're going to go to a bank after a year or 2 with business tax returns, and you say to that bank or lender, hey, I'd like to get a loan issued to me based on my business credit. Now keep in mind, they're probably not going to give it to you the first round on the business credit only. They're still going to check your personal. So it's very important that you also maintain and take good care of your personal credit. Okay, guys? So what happens is you're going to get approved with some personal guarantee, but the business credit will be attached. And then you'll be able to start weaning yourself off of that business credit. Now, there's other ways to do this where you can expedite just the business credit without the personal guarantee. One of those ways is, to build up a profile where you have big transactions, big purchases, and big payments. There are other accounts that are business credit accounts that you can get depending on your revenue. That's going to make a big difference. So your revenue is important, your personal credit's important, your available deposit to make a down payment on a loan or a line of credit is going to make a difference. But if you don't have the line of credit, if the revenue is not as strong as you'd like it to be, and you build up that business credit, along the way you are basically getting access to funding. You're getting access to the MasterCard, to several other retail accounts, to commercial accounts, to vendor accounts, and ultimately this is going to give you buying power. It's going to help you to alleviate and move your debt from your personal over to the business. And that's the key, is that ultimately you have the business that's sitting on the business credit and not on your personal credit. So what does that do for you? It minimizes your personal debt to income ratio. Your DTI is not affected because it's on the business, right? So if you have a couple business credit cards, maybe you have 50,000 or 150,000 of credit available to you on your business credit, which you leverage personal credit to get that business credit, right? But it doesn't sit on your personal credit, so your personal debt to income is reduced. And then you maybe have another 150,000 of vendor accounts, retail, commercial accounts that you've built up, building your business credit. You have a lot of powerful accounts to spend for your monthly, daily business activities and alleviate and move that debt off of your personal credit. So not only does it reduce your personal debt to income ratio, so your personal credit's now available for you to use for whatever you want on the personal side, if you need to buy a house or you want to buy a car or any personal credit usage. But it also separates liability, because if the debt sits on the tax ID or the EIN number, right, that's the reason you establish a business, is so there's a buffer between you and your business. Different setups, corporation setups have different levels of liability, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to set yourself up as a sole prop, because even though you have an EIN, you can't really build business credit with that sole prop. So you need to be an LLC or an S Corp or C Corp, or any kind of corporation except for a sole prop will suffice. But ultimately, you're separating the liability from your personal to your business. You're minimizing your debt to income ratio. You're building that business credit so that you can get access to more and more funding. And in due time, you're going to be able to start weaning yourself off of any personal guarantee. You're going to be able to get approved for large loans on the business credit. You can use this type of credit and funding for any business, whether you're a mom and pop brick and mortar location, providing services, products, or you're an investor in real estate, or you're doing any type of business, web-based e-commerce. Business credit is going to be crucial to your long-term growth. Now, do you need the business credit? You don't need it, but will you want it? This is something you want to do so you can separate that liability. You can separate and make your personal credit independent of your business, and you can grow your business on the business credit. And here's the other thing, guys. If you plan on opening multiple businesses, you can create credit for every single business that you create, that you own. So this is not limited to one business, okay? You can have multiple businesses, and each one of your businesses, if they have a unique EIN or tax ID, they can establish credit for each one of those businesses. So I think I've beat up enough on the business credit building. So important for every business to do this, whether you're a startup or an existing business. Just check out Business Credit 101. You can get a free consultation. We have different levels of access to Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, and Tier 4 business credit building. There's master classes, there's coaching, there's credibility instruction. So everything we went over is clearly provided at different levels of access at businesscredit101.com. And again, the goal here is to get your personal and business credit as strong as possible. So when you do need financing, you have options and you're not stuck with the most expensive options on the market, which are only looking at your revenue.